For many years, corruption has been a disease that has been eating the African continent and bleeding it dry. After independence, many African countries still remain underdeveloped, largely due to corruption by the leaders they put in top positions who only care about amassing wealth, enriching their families, and staying in power. Recently, the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project released a report naming some of the most corrupt leaders worldwide, and African leaders could not miss topping the list. In today's video, therefore, we are going to cover the top 10 most corrupt African presidents. Number 10. Emmerson Mnangagwa, Zimbabwe. Emmerson Mnangagwa has been serving as the president of Zimbabwe since 2017 after clinching the top seat through a military coup. Since becoming the president, he has been implicated in several corruption cases leading to widespread criticism and international sanctions. According to reports, Mnangagwa is linked to gold smuggling operations by protecting gold and diamond smugglers, creating a corrupt network that deprives Zimbabwe of valuable resources. During the COVID-19 pandemic, President Mnangagwa's son, Collins Mnangagwa, was involved in a procurement scandal of personal protective equipment worth $60 million USD, raising questions about the president's indirect involvement in the matter. These cases, among others, have put the Zimbabwean president among the most corrupt leaders on the continent. Number 9. Salva Kiir, South Sudan. Salva Kiir has been the president of South Sudan since the country got independence from Sudan in 2011. During his tenure, he has been linked to allegations of corruption, primarily through investigations. Due to the opaque nature of the South Sudan government, direct evidence linking Kiir personally to corruption cases is often murky. Nonetheless, in 2012, President Kiir admitted that his government had embezzled about $4 billion of public resources since independence. Credible reports by the Century allege that President Kiir and his inner circle have massively benefited from misappropriation of oil funds through the diversion of oil revenues. Money from oil that is always intended for public use is normally directed to private accounts or used to fund patronage networks. Kiir has also been involved in several other scandals, including an arms deal scandal, land and property acquisitions, nepotism, and favoritism. Number 8. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Uganda. President Museveni is one of the longest-serving African presidents, having ruled the country since 1986 after clinching the top seat through a military coup. During his long tenure, Uganda has experienced very little infrastructural and economic growth, something that has always raised questions about where the country's resources disappear. Museveni himself has been linked to several corruption cases, including alleged bribery by Chinese energy conglomerate, a deal that also involved several Ugandan officials. The bribe was to help the Chinese firm secure business advantage for China's energy. Several corruption cases have always been reported in Museveni's government, like the embezzlement scandal in the office of the Prime Minister in 2012, but the failure of action by the president has always raised questions of whether he has always been involved. Museveni has also been accused of manipulating the judiciary to extend his long stay in power. Number 7. Ismail Omar Guelleh, Djibouti. Ismail Omar Guelleh is also one of the longest-serving African presidents, having ruled the country since 1999. During his tenure, the Djiboutian president has faced numerous allegations of corruption that has led to widespread poverty and human rights abuses in Djibouti. In 2015, Guelleh was summoned to testify in a British court in a corruption case that accused his former ally, Abdurrahman Bore, of terrorism and corruption in Djibouti. Credible reports indicate that the Djiboutian president and his family have amassed enormous wealth by controlling the country's resources and strategic assets such as the country's ports and revenues from the existence of several military bases in the country. Several international organizations have consistently criticized the Djiboutian government for corruption and lack of transparency due to lack of independent media and targeting of journalists and government critics. Number 6. Isaias Afwerki, Eritrea. Isaias Afwerki is also one of the longest-serving African presidents, having ruled the country since 1993 when the country became independent from Ethiopia. During his tenure, Eritrea has experienced significant corruption challenges as power is concentrated within the executive branch, with the president at the top. In Eritrea, the government controls all the country's resources and foreign exchanges, leading to little private investments and low government salaries, encouraging widespread corruption cases. Though it is evident that the president is involved in corruption cases through the network he has created, the lack of press freedom and the lack of government transparency have made it difficult to document specific corruption cases in which the president has been involved. Number 5. Denis Sassou Nguesso, Republic of the Congo. Yet another one of the longest-serving presidents in Africa, Denis Sassou Nguesso has ruled the Republic of Congo since 1997. During his long tenure as the president, he has faced numerous legal actions and allegations of corruption and embezzlement of public resources involving him and his family. The Sassou Nguesso family has been implicated in several international corruption cases, including the acquisition of numerous luxury properties in France, the United States, and Switzerland using embezzled public funds. The president and his family have been a central focus of the Biya investigations, which is an investigation that scrutinizes the acquisition of assets by foreign leaders through illicit means. Number 4. Paul Biya, Cameroon. At the age of 91 years old, Paul Biya is the oldest African president and is the second longest-serving African president, having ruled the country since 1982. During his long tenure in office, Paul Biya has been involved in numerous corruption cases and controversies. According to reports, the Cameroonian president spends most of his time abroad and is often on private trips, wasting taxpayers' money. Biya and his family have been accused of extravagant expenditures, while the majority of Cameroonians languish in poverty. Having been in office for such a long period of time, he has managed to create a network of high-ranking government officials that do his biddings while he protects them through suppressing corruption investigations. Number 3. Teodoro Obiang, Equatorial Guinea. Teodoro Obiang Nguema is currently the longest-serving African president, having ruled Equatorial Guinea since 1979. During his long tenure in office, he has faced several corruption investigations involving embezzlement and misuse of public funds. The investigations have also targeted his son, Teodoro Obiang Nguema, who is currently serving as the country's vice president since 2016. Obiang and his family have amassed a significant amount of wealth in the oil-rich country where the majority of the people live in poverty. His son, who is currently the vice president, was convicted in a French court on charges of embezzlement and misuse of public funds, sentencing him to 3 years in prison and imposing a 30 million euros fine on him. Obiang and his family own luxury mansions in the United States, France, and Switzerland, which have also been under scrutiny through the Biya investigations, which translates to ill-gotten gains. Number 2. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria. The Nigerian president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been voted as the third most corrupt leader globally by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project. During his long political career, Tinubu has been involved in multiple corruption cases. In 1993, he forfeited approximately $460,000 to the US government after a court case alleged his bank accounts contained money from heroin trafficking. The Nigerian president has also been linked to Alpha Beta Consultancy, a firm that has been accused of money laundering, fraud, and tax evasion. In 2020, bank documents indicated that the firm transferred a substantial amount of money to shell companies connected to Tinubu's associates. During the 2019 elections, Tinubu was accused of vote buying as a bullion van was seen entering Tinubu's home. Tinubu later hit back at the allegations, saying that it was his right to distribute his money as he wished. Number 1. William Ruto, Kenya. According to reports by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, the Kenyan president, William Ruto, has been handed the title of the second most corrupt leader worldwide, as the first position went to the ousted Syrian president, Assad. During his political career, William Ruto has been involved in multiple corruption cases, including the famous Western Hotel land controversy, the KPC Ngong land forest scandal, the Arer and Kimwarer dam scandal, and the most recently, Kemsa mosquito net scandal and the edible oil import scheme. Ruto's name was also previously featured in the grabbing of the Langata Primary School playground and the adjacent plot belonging to the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. Despite all these allegations, the Kenyan president has many times denied involvement in any corruption case. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Be sure to like, share and subscribe as I bring you more information on the African continent, people and culture.